Welcome back to the shop, friends. Today I have a very special video for you. We're going to be building a really cool laundry room organizer for Mrs. W with a secret hidden compartment. So I've already started. Let's just jump into it. I'll explain things as we go, and I think you'll enjoy the video. Let me get you up to speed really quick. So this of course is the bottom of the cabinet. This would be the toe kick. Now we've got 4 individual compartments. These will fit her laundry baskets perfectly, and this will fit right alongside the washer and dryer stack, so she'll be able to sort and utilize that tiny little room that she's using. Let me bring you over here and show you what we're cutting first. I've got all the individual pieces cut, so one of the last things remaining here is we're gonna have to cut that rabbet in the back. Now the very back panel is gonna be a piece or a couple pieces of 1/4 inch ply, veneered as well, because this is gonna show to the inside. And so what I've done here is I've rabbeted these out just to kind of show you, and that will sit in there just like that. So let's get started and get those rabbets cut. I just ripped that 1/4 by half, and because of the way plywood's made, if you're careful, you can usually just break this off here. This is the last cut we need to make. This is the side panel. I'm cutting it down here. Now you don't need any fancy tools to get really nice cuts. When you're working with finished grade material, meaning you're not going to paint, putty, caulk and all that, and everything, what you cut and what you do is going to show. It's critical. It's absolutely critical. You need to be working not to the 16th, but to the 32nd. So take your time and do it right. When you need to do a straight cut, and let's say all you have is a skill saw, it can be done. Get yourself a good finished blade, something, how many teeth does a finished blade on a skill saw have? Maybe 60? Anyway, the more teeth, the smoother the cut. That's what you want to use for your finished stuff. So what I do is we need to make this cut right across here, and it needs to be perfect, right? So what I do is I'll set 2 2x4s up on end like this, and the reason I'll do that is it gives you room to clamp. Your clamps will fit on there. Get yourself a straight edge, something that's a piece of plywood that's got a factory edge on it, and mark it on there. So I've marked it on there. That's a factory edge. It's going to be straight as possible. Now your skill saws are going to have what they call an offset, and that is from the outside of the kerf to the outside of the fence, and I'll just take and write that on there. For this particular saw, it's 1 7/16 inches, and this is what I mean by that. So we are going to use this straight edge as a guide, and knowing that we have that 1 7/16 inches offset, I'll go ahead and factor that in with the straight edge, and that way I can go along here and get that perfect cut exactly where I want it. I've just joined the top to the sides using the pocket screws. I'm a huge fan of these pocket screws. This might be one of the best tool inventions in the last decade, but you can see right there, those are the superior way to put it. So in the past, when we've wanted to connect plywood, it's easy to go through an end grain, focus, and go through the side there into an end grain, right? Problem with that is there's no strength in the end grain. So the pocket screw, what it gives you is it pulls into the side of the wood, and it's so easy to use, and it's so strong, some people even claim you don't even need glue. I quit gluing up. It's just an extra step that's just not necessary because the pocket screws pull everything so tight. So let me show you how easy this is to do. Who is this?
It's a little bear. Oh, is it hard to walk on that? Oh yeah, you want to go for a dirt bike ride?
Hey, can you come and see me? Have you ever walked on ice before?
She doesn't like it very well.
Maybe 2 hands on that. It's very slippery. Hi, baby. You want to come and see Papa for a minute? There's a big step. Can you step up? Yeah, step up.
Lucy knocked her over like 4 times
Oh
already.
my goodness, I'm so happy to see you. Are you and Mama going for a walk? You want to go for, she doesn't want to be in there, she wants to go for a walk.
Let's go for a walk.
All right, well come back and see me
Okay.
when you guys come in. I'll bet there's plenty of mud down at the pond.
She's really good at mud.
Bye, baby. Who's the boss baby? You are, huh? To be honest, I thought this thing was a gimmick. You know how there's always, somebody that's coming up with something and some trinket or some gimmick or something to make life easier? Well, this is one that actually works. And it's just so easy to use. There's no learning curve. That's the nice part. It's got a sliding scale in there, so you just slide the deal there according to what thickness you want. You look at the screws tell you. It's just fabulous. So all you do is you just line this up, and it's got a kind of a vice grip deal there. You've got a couple options here, and this is the drill bit, and it comes with a stop. And you set that stop. It's got a little gauge built into the box it comes in, and really great drill bits, and you just drill a hole. Like that, and there's no guesswork. It's perfect exactly every time. The only critical thing is you got to have the drill bit depth set. And you got to buy the right screw. So as I said, just if you're doing 3/4 inch plywood, just get these. I think the 1-inch ones or whatever they are, and it's absolutely delightful to use. I like to take a minute to line up my screws. Just make a mark so everything is the same on both sides. You never ever feel bad or wrong about doing things properly or to doing a good job on something, but do things halfway and you'll always be disappointed. So you can see I put the line on right there. On the back of this guy right there, you can see there's a little line. You just line that up and then just clamp that right there, and then that will correspond over here. I know there's all sorts of jigs and accessories and different things you can get. And if you're a full-blown, cabinet maker or something like that, they're probably fine. But for just the common guy, just get the basic kit. I would definitely recommend getting. I bought the vice grip tool. I think this extra. It was a few extra bucks, but it's so worth it. You could hold that into place, but it's much more precise with the clamp. You definitely want to blow these out, because you get a lot of sawdust in there. Make sure those screws secure. As good as the pocket screws are, one thing I've really struggled with is if I try to hold something flush, because this is cabinet grade stuff. We want this to be as perfect as possible. What I find is when I put the screw in, it'll pull it off. I don't know why. So what I've started doing is just taking a small pin nailer. If you don't have a nail gun, you can do this with just a regular finish nail, and put a little 1.25 inch pin in there, and then at about 3 places. So flush this up. You can feel that the human hand is extremely sensitive. You can feel what you can't see. So you'll line that up perfectly. Press a little pressure on there. You should feel no transition there. And then I'll just stick a little nail in there. And one more in the bottom. What that will do is that's going to hold that in place exactly where I wanted it. And when I set my pocket screws, now this has a bow in it. You can't see that, but it's doing this. So to make sure that that's even, I'll flush it right where. Don't put a nail where you're going to put a pocket screw. I'll put a tack there, and then I'll pull this last one out, and that little nail will basically just force the wood to straighten out. That's perfect. And to be honest, if you're doing any sort of cabinetry work or building boxes of any sort, man, just get one of these. I mean, if you've had less than the best luck building cabinets in the past, this has changed it for me. I really actually enjoy it now rather than just being frustrated, because it makes it so much simpler. And look how it pulls. Look how it pulls tight. Slip right there, but look how it pulls. Look how tight it pulls it. I use these things in all the cabinetry work and stuff in the van. You get no squeaks, you get no creaks. It's really good. Hi, baby.
Hi, Dada.
Hi. Do you want your ball?
Go in there.
You want the ball? Come and get the ball. Ta-da! Yay!
It's pretty cramped in there, isn't it? You have some help? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah? You got.
You want this back?
Back.
You want the drill back? Moving right along here, I'll show you how I put the shelves in. A simple way to do it to get good consistency. I always like to use jigs whenever possible. And so I want these to be 16 inches. That gives her plenty of room for her basket. If it's heaped up, she's got an extra 6 inches that she can shove them in there and things are not going to fall off on the floor. So I've cut a piece of plywood at 16 inches and I'm just using that as a gauge, as a spacer. With that spacer in place, we're perfect every single time. You know, we've got the exact same spacing. It's one less thing to worry about. Now we can flush that. We want to be as precise as possible. Flush that there so we don't have any sanding or very minimal sanding. We can just scuff it a little bit when we're done. And we'll just put a pin in here. These are 1.5 inch pins or nails. We'll do the same thing here on the back side. We'll use our spacer. We'll flush it up. Use your clamps. Your clamps will just give you an extra hand and you'll get a better quality of work. It's one less thing to worry about. You know it's not going to slip on you. And now you can see the importance of that rabbet. So here's a sample of what the back piece is going to be. Look how that sits in there flushly. Now the shelves, they're 1/4 inch shallow, right? The 1/4 inch less than the overall side so that they fit in here. And now we can nail this into the shelves, we can nail it into the sides, it'll be very strong, and this is how we'll square the whole thing, but you can see that in there. So make sure that we're flush. It's really important to flush that so we don't have any humps or anything. And once we know we're tight, we can secure it with a pin.